Hey, Ryan's actually Ryan's actually fast as shit too, so it gets put up pretty fast.
Nice.
All right. So now we are recording, so don't say anything that you'll regret.
That's my life story.
Going down in the book.
That's everything that's going to come out of my mouth over the next hour.
Right? Dude. And then you look back at it after. It's always like, I never understood the hindsight 2020 thing until I became an adult. And I'm like, oh, okay.
That's so true. So true.
All right, guys. I want to introduce to anybody that's been living under a rock.
Right.
This guy right here, Craig Soubliere. He's is formerly the Bearded Dude podcast, and now it's Smash City, I believe. Is that correct, Craig?
Yes, sir. Welcome to Smash City, the podcast. We just started that about a month ago. So yeah, man, kind of getting inspired by kind of what you guys are doing. You know, it's really amazing to see so many people out there pushing this great sport.
Oh yeah, for sure, man. And I look forward to your daily posts on Facebook.
Bro,
I mean, they're all inspiring and all that stuff, man. And they're just good to read, good to see. And if there's somebody that's in downward spiral or anything like that, and they come across one of the messages that you post, man, I'm sure it inspires the crap out of them. It does to me. So
I've said that
it's
day one.
It's an honor to have you on here, sir.
If anything fails, if he ever gets bored doing anything else, after just now, he's got two things he can do for a living: motivational speaker. And Craig, you're one of the dopest name creators ever. Your podcast that if I ever need a name created for something, I'm hitting you up. They're not.
I'll fuck everybody's name up.
Bro. I was just over here thinking, I'm like, where does he come up with this shit from? It took me 4 weeks to come up with the grind.
Well, I started doing the whole and I like that name by the way, grind. That's a really awesome. I feel like that kind of shows you about arm wrestling and hard work, and it really sends a good message. But for me, I've been always kind of using that phrase, welcome to Smash City. When I'm getting ready for a tournament, basically I'm gonna have this attitude that I'm gonna smash everybody, but I don't really say that. So in actuality, whoever smashes everybody's in that Smash City zone. So I just feel like and then when I did the podcast, I just said, you know what, I'm just gonna do this. It just relates to arm wrestling, and just go with it like that. That's the thing about doing this stuff, man. You just have to be yourself and authentic.
100%.
And not fakeness. And you talk about my post, I really appreciate that, because really it inspires me to do it, because I'm talking to myself, you know what I mean? So this is all stuff that I battle through each day, and I'm talking to myself basically. And I feel like, especially Facebook and Instagram, like a scrapbook, I'm just basically or like a diary almost, and I'm just sharing how I feel and what I do to push through those days, because just today I found out a friend of mine just committed suicide, and we never know what's going on with people's mental health, man, and that's no joke, you know what I mean? And I'm a big believer in mental health, getting that clarity, and staying focused, because the mind is really the biggest challenge. And when you don't have that under control, then your body just gets kind of left, so nothing really gets done, and you don't really accomplish anything. And I just feel like you live a life of regret when you have that mindset.
Yes.
And Donnie, you've seen this. I mean, we come from that same addiction kind of background where we really, went through hell and back, and here we are living it, and just grateful each day. I know you're grateful for your life, and it inspires me, and we all can inspire each other. And it's just amazing when you keep a positive attitude and stuff. And You know, I think it's just so much better to be inspiring, because like a lot of my life I played a victim, and I'd always like be negative, and I
Yeah.
just really hate that now. And I feel like, you know, it's good to pass a good message on.
That went hand in hand with addiction, man. Being the victim, like just putting yourself in that position, like it's almost like a mental reverse psychology you put on yourself so you can feel bad to go do more drugs. It's like, or do whatever you did. And I've had the honor and privilege of being on your show, and that to this day, man. I mean, I haven't done a whole ton of damn podcasts and shows and stuff, but that was the best experience, man. I've had. Like it was really cool and liberating to just like for the first time. Like a lot of people know my story and my background, like people that are close to me, but it really like it made me. For the first time, I was just like, a lot of people that know of me but don't know it, like, are gonna hear it, and I didn't care, and you made it so comfortable. It was for somebody in your position and who you are. You're so respected by everybody that I've ever like heard your name come out of their mouth, and to be a part of that, man, and to help other people. Like I said, like we said in the show, if it even helped one person, dude, that was a blessing. I'm thankful. But like I'm thankful, man. I'm honored that you're here and we get to chop it up with you again and grind on our show.
Well, I appreciate the kind words, and it's really it's my honor to be on your guys' show, and just be able to hang out and you know, talk about arm wrestling, talk about life, talk about whatever. I'm an open book, and there's nothing that I'm not you know, I won't talk about.
Yeah, and like I was telling Ryan, like that's another reason why I chose to grind. I like mainly about arm, like it describes arm wrestling to the T, but it also leaves it open for like other discussions too. Like, because a lot of people have like their show's name is like To the Table and stuff like that, and it kind of like isolates it to one thing. I wanted us to be able to talk about anything, you know, like mental health and stuff like that, because me and Ryan are also big advocates for men's mental health also, because men carry this like weight on their shoulders that we can't talk to nobody because we're pussies, and you know, if we complain about something, or if we're having a bad day, it's like we're weak. And it's like, dude, no, like majority of the people that commit suicide are men, you know, with families and like good lives. And you see them one day with a smile on their face, and the next day you hear about them unfortunately passing away due to suicide. And you're like, I would have never saw it. And that's how it always is.
Yeah, so now like I have a different perspective on people when they're like negative, or they're like, you know, kind of an asshole or whatever. And I can see it online too. And I kind of look at that and say, hey, I think that person's going through something. Maybe they're in pain. There's something's going on, not dealing with some trauma. Because when I used to hate like that, and I used to like be so negative and just friggin' just, you know, living that life of regret, you know, I was in so much pain, you know. So I feel like, and it's not about letting people walk all over you and stuff, of course, but it's just like you're able to, I know myself now, I'm able to have a different perspective and not judge people right away, because everybody's going through something, man. And like I said, just finding out, you know, my friend Max you know, passing away, and it just blows my mind. He had 2 kids, and I feel like you know, you never know what people are going through, man. And I feel like we all have to be like uplifting to others. You know, I feel like that's a big deal in life. You know, I have this thing that, you know, when I interact with others, I want to leave them better than before I started a conversation with them, or at least the same. I don't want to be I don't want to lower anyone's energy down, or, you know, drag anyone down, because I live my life, most of my life like that. And it's just a horrible existence. And I think we need to share our experiences in life so others can kind of, you know, not have to go through this life of misery, man. I never got anything really together till I was like 46 years old. And that's too long in life to be a victim and live this life of misery, you know.
You said 46. How is that possible when you're still in like your 30s, ain't it?
Yeah. This gray hair, baby, all this silver hair, you know. But being 51 now, I just feel like I'm in this midlife And it's it's amazing to me now. I really like this this chapter where I'm at in life right now.
Jesus, man, you're like 51, dude.
Yeah,
Like
brother.
what? Like
71.
what is in the water? Hey, send me a bottle of that
Yeah,
water,
yeah.
baby.
It's a freaking yoked at 51, man.
Yeah.
I know.
Well,
I keep
that's
seeing those
40
pictures.
years of weightlifting.
Yeah,
Yeah, right.
I see you already got your kids started. Like, dude, you're doing it right, man. Like I literally, my wife was telling me, because I have a 12-year-old, a 3-year-old, and a 2-year-old, and my wife was trying to tell me about a year ago, it's too early to start them young. And I would show her the video of you training with your kids. I was like, bro, they're not too young. I was like, look, Craig's daughter would whoop our 12-year-old's ass right now. I'm like, we have to step it up, man.
You know, for me, it's all about teaching discipline and stuff, because man, we live in this world now where kids are they're mesmerized by technology. They're on a phone.
Not necessarily about strength, but it's about committing to something and getting something done.
And teaching them exercise form. And, you know, we do lift a little bit heavier with some machines that I have that's already set and stuff, kind of giving the kids, you know, goals to set or whatever. But, you know, my son, he started when he was 6. And, you know, I always wish, you know, that I had a man in my life growing up that would have showed me how to be a man. And, you know, I feel like exercise, lifting weights has been a huge part of my life. I mean, it's just kept me, you know, kept me on this road to where I'm at now in life. And I feel like the discipline part, just it can be an asset to all other aspects of your life, you know. So you know, having that discipline, I feel like just, you know, makes you work harder at work, you know, do a job correctly the first time, you know, and just be able to be you know, be a man of your word, all that kind of good stuff, you know.
I remember my brother coming home from the military, and I was like 12 years old, and he told my mom was telling him that I was like acting up and I was, you know, doing dumb stuff. And it was like the first thing that he did, he was like, I'm going to teach you some discipline. First thing we did was go to the gym. Like I was expecting like a rake and shovel or something, you know, because I remember getting in trouble one time and going outside and like having to like cut this big ass tree that was in our backyard that had fallen down. And I was so young, dude. It took like every time I got in trouble, I'd cut on it. I never made it through it. But I remember like when I was 12, I was like, yep, I'm about to go outside and do some yard work. No, I wish we would have went and did yard work. This man went and took me and put me through like the worst like overall body workout of my life. I ended up going to the parking lot and was like throwing up in the parking lot, dry heaving and stuff. But after that, I was like leaving that day. I was like, I hate the gym. But some like weird thing happened the next day. I woke up and I was kind of like, I kind of wanted to go and prove myself that I could, you know, do more, or at least I could go, because he was talking crap the next day. He's like, you're sore. You can't lift no more. Right. And I was like, man, I can go in there and do more. But it was I loved it, man. Like weights and stuff are definitely a way that I relate to my boys as well. Like pull-ups and stuff. We have a pull-up thing in our house and hanging on the door. Every time they walk by it, it's something they want to do. So that's another thing. It's like a routine thing. I'm a man of routine. So I kind of put that off on my kids as well. It's like I like for them to be in a routine and get stuff down.
It's how you build self-esteem and you build some self-worth, you know, at a young age. And, you know, and I feel like kids lack that, man. They're so weak. I mean, I see these kids that my kids go to school with. I mean, my kids are growing up like I grew up. You know, I was born in the 70s. I grew up, you know, as a teenager in the 80s, you know. So that's where we're at with our kids. And my wife, she's a behavior analyst. Her whole career is you know, teaching kids how to behave and keeping families together and stuff. So, you know, she knows what the main issues are for families, you know, and it's really technology, man. Phones are really they're real tricky when you know, when you put them in a hand of you know, someone that's under the age of 18. And and also, you know, I feel that takes away from communication, learning how to have conversations. You know, kids are sitting around staring at a phone. They're forgetting how to talk to each other. They're forgetting to go out and play. I mean, I never see kids on the street playing like basketball, or, you know, when I grew up in Canada, we were playing hockey on the, you know, after school. We're like always active. And
I'm from Philly, man. We used to play hockey in the street all the time.
So
me and my wife were just talking a couple weeks ago. Remember the little like the green electrical boxes in your front yard or in the neighborhood?
Yes.
Bro, that used to be like home base. You could at 6 o'clock on any given day, especially on the weekend, you see 10, 15 kids surrounded by that thing. Now it's like an extinct race.
You're right, dude.
Yeah.
So I feel like that just blends in with everything that I'm trying to teach my kids, you know.
Ryan and his boys be doing, like, they go like deep sea fishing and stuff like that. I was like, dude.
Well, yeah, I got one son. He just turned 20 in October, and he's all in the fishing. So I mean, he has this like little technology stuff here and there, his phone.
Yeah,
but I mean, he's hunting. He's either duck hunting, he's deer hunting, or he's fishing. And this is like, he works with me too. So he's out there pushing wheelbarrows full of rock, dirt, and shoveling, and hard labor.
Y'all move boulders, man. You sent me pictures of the stuff y'all move. It looks like when you're going to like driving through the mountains after they've like blown the side of the mountain apart. I'm like, these guys are moving whole fucking cities. Like what?
Oh yeah, man. It's a good name for the show too, because it's definitely a grind every day. But I mean, and you know, he'll come home and he's out the door 10 minutes later, taking his little John boat to the river, going fishing or something.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it's like
my 12-year-old at the event this Saturday, bro, he almost had a fucking panic attack when there was other kids over there. Me and my wife were trying to get him to go there and talk to him. He told us, he was like, I need a minute. I'm like, for what? He was like, to like build myself up to get ready. I was like, what?
Yeah.
I was like, bro, I said, hey, I'm old school, man. So like some people might not agree with like how I am, but like I was raised by like old iron workers, and I'm from up north, dude, like steel, like city, baby. Like these, like I was raised by, pardon my language, but old assholes, like jackasses, dude. So I looked at him and I was like, bro, you better like take a Midol and go over there, boy. Like, what do you mean? he was like literally like freaking out because he was about to have to go. Like we were trying to get him to go talk to some kids his age, but yet at the house he talks all the time about how he wants to be around other kids and this and that his age. Because a lot of the guys that come to practice, they either don't have kids, and if they do, they're really young and they're like my younger kids' age. But yeah, dude, it really hit home with me, like how, you know, because he was our first child and stuff, so he kind of got the baby treatment and stuff, and very, you know, like if he fell, Brittany ran to him and I ran to him and stuff. But like I saw that yesterday for the first time. I was like, man, and COVID and stuff. So he went through COVID like 10, 11 years old, like kind of like when you start to become more sociable with kids your age and stuff like that. So it kind of, I was like, well, that's something I got to start working on more with him. I got to get him around like kids his age more.
Yeah.
Well,
yeah, that's a panic attack, man.
Well, dude, when them kids hang out now, they hang out every day, right? But they hang out and they got a controller in one hand or in their hand, and then they got the headset on. So like how we're talking now, but without the video, that's how they talk every day. And that's I'm hanging out with my friends. It's like, bro, you never left your room.
Yeah, I was like, you ain't hanging out with nobody. I was like, first of all, I want like, I was like, know every single one of these people, like personally, have you seen them? Because if not, I want to talk to them, because it could be some 300.
Like, dude, I grew up in Massachusetts, and all year round, man, we were fucked. I got to turn this light off because the cop just went by. But you know, all through the mountains, or I'm from the mountains, so like all winter long, we're like doing stuff in the snow. We're outside playing. You know, all the time, man. And then so it's just like, I don't understand how these kids just sit
I
around,
have
and
to be
it's just
yelled
like,
at to come in the house. Like I have to yell at my kids to go out the house, and I'm like, what is this? Is insane.
Donnie, you seen the size of my calves, right?
Yeah, I was just about to, dude. That's so weird. I was just about to
Look,
ask Craig. I was like, have you seen Ryan's calves? Like this guy has done some.
this
like,
is look, that is from putting in the work when I was a kid, man. Driving my bike up that mountain every day.
yeah,
You know what I'm saying? Every
bro.
day. Like
Kids
I haven't worked,
nowadays,
dude. I haven't done a calf raise or worked out my legs since like 2003 when my last year in high school. Right.
you put enough
So,
leg work out in as a child.
Yes.
you know, and legs are genetic. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
But
genetics. You got great, especially calves, dude. Like people just have like just great genetics. But like you said, you pounded them biking. I feel like that's why I have, decent development, not size wise, but definition, just from like always walking and always just biking. And I never had a car till I was like 24. So I was on the bus walking. So it just builds good endurance. But later on in life, when you're old like me, you start to feel it in your knees and shit. So.
Dude, I was in the gym one day. This is before I got all my home equipment, and dude walks up to me. It's like, say, hey man. He's like, I don't mean to be no way, but you got some great legs, man. And I just started laughing. He's like, what do you do?
Yeah.
What do you do? And I said, dude, I'm an arm wrestler. You see me with this like punch your crush handle. I was like, I haven't worked my legs out in years. He's like, oh, and he called some dude over there. He's like, I told you it was genetic. It was pretty funny.
Yeah.
Don't you hate that? Like that guy probably felt fucking so bad. He was like, bet you this guy's like a fullback for a like football team or something like that. And you're like, I'm an arm wrestler. I do nothing with my legs.
Yeah, the guy's been squatting for like 10 years and
Yeah.
Ryan's over there going, I haven't done shit in 12 years.
That dude left. After talking to Ryan, he went straight home and started arm wrestling all of his friends.
Yeah.
Like, I don't feel it in my leg, but this guy had huge calves.
Like every event I go to, man, like I could get a win on Adam Orzinski, you know what I'm saying? And everybody's like, dude, you have great legs. Or your legs are huge. Like, bro, I just beat him.
I went on Adam.
No one cares. They're all mesmerized by your legs.
I know. And I'm like,
what? Yeah, your video gets sent into the Aussie arm wrestler, and it's just like, bang, look at them calves. Nothing else about the win.
Yeah, like, well, I mean, I haven't beat Adam yet, but I've had some wars with him, but I was just using that as an example. But jeez, man.
Speaking of him, he has a super match this weekend with a kid from Florida.
Is it this weekend?
I think so. Justin Taco is his name.
Justin Takix, yeah.
Takix, yeah. He it's like a $2,500, I think, is on the line.
Yeah, it's crazy. The way that thing got put together was so crazy. I actually was I was in the middle of it at the very beginning. I was like kind of relaying because I'm a part of this lightweight group.
Okay.
Message board, and his training partners were talking about it in that group, and I was like, bro, I'll message Adam right now, like, because the way they were kind of wording it was like this guy was talking about he could smash the whole Carolina Chaos team. And I was like, bro, I'll invest some money in this. Like, okay. Like, and don't get me wrong, Justin's an animal. Like, I don't know if it got like dismantled through Trent, like through all the people, relaying the message. But like him and that, like, I can't wait to see the match. Like, and Adam even said, like, he's training hard. He's taking this guy serious. And he's already beat some crazy big names. Now I've seen him pull at y'all in Florida.
Yeah, I pulled both of those guys. They both beat me, but Adam, I felt, was more dominant. I felt like he was in more control of the match. But I feel like new guys,
we all know
sport,
this,
and they're strong. Like that kid is strong.
He is strong.
I feel like a couple more times pulling him, you figure out how to pull him. I have I would go in there with a different game plan this time. But yeah, the
Yeah.
kid is strong and he's training. You know,
Yeah.
he's quiet. You don't know what's going on, you know,
But
with
we
him.
all seen
Plus,
that.
he's putting $2,500 on the line. But I feel like it always happens in arm wrestling. Every probably 5 to 6 years, some guy comes in the sport. I remember when I first got in the sport, there was a video of Chuck Young bet like a absurd amount of money with Luke Kent because he was
Yeah,
a
you-
lightweight, and you know,
Well, he
Chuck
tried to
was.
pull somebody bigger, but then they were like, "Look, we'll give you Luke, and if you can get through Luke, then we'll talk."
So
Yeah,
like
that was UAL, right?
yes, that happens.
Yeah, yeah.
Then you saw, you know, Chuck Ryder challenge Rob RVJ, and you know, like it's not even in the same league sort of deal, but people, you know, they're kind of delusional a little bit. I feel maybe, you know, maybe
Yeah.
with a little more time in the sport, I feel like then they would kind of realize that there's levels in the game.
Yeah.
So I feel like this match is really going to be one of those matches where someone spends $2,500 and learns a valuable lesson. And I've done that. You know, I've done that with Jordan Sill. You know, it cost me $1,000 to learn a valuable lesson. And you know, this is how you kind of see where you're at in the game. But you know, guys that just get in the sport, you know, a year, maybe pulled like 2 or 3 tournaments.
Mhm.
I feel like, you know, thinking that you're going to beat Adam, I mean, that's a pretty, you know,
Bold
hefty
statement.
feat, you know, and then if he thinks he's going to beat, you know, Chad Silvers and Shane Owens and all those guys, like they're just going to line those guys up. And I'm missing other friggin' beasts in there because I don't know the whole team, but you know,
they're all, everybody on that team is like,
yes, they're superheroes. I mean, they're just strong,
Hey,
great arm wrestlers.
hold on. I want to ask you, Craig, and have you pulled Shane Owens recently?
I pulled him after the tournament, and like that was like, oh God, when that would have been last year. But I see that he's on a tear. But and plus, I feel like I was fresher than him, so it was, you know, of course, I was, you know, I had, you know, more dominance in that. But he pulled the whole tournament. I got knocked out. I got a kind of a tough draw. Who did I draw first? I can't remember who I drew first, but then I drew Adam right after. So I was like,
you drew sorry, David Price, or
oh, Daniel
what's his
Price.
name?
Yeah, Daniel
Daniel
Price. Yes, he beat me
Yeah,
for the
yeah.
first time. He beat me for the first time. And then yeah, then Adam beat me. And then yeah, and those guys just leveled up. But Shane has really leveled up since that. That's been a long time. So, and he's big as fuck.
yeah.
That
you
dude
know,
is that dude is
yeah.
he's
Shane
about
is, Shane's
all he needs is a match. All he
Yeah.
needs is a match, dude. That dude is freaking crazy strong.
yeah, it's unbelievable. And to like for the shit that he's overcome and to still be in the sport and be like
Yeah.
dedicated and like, I mean,
Did he
tore
have an
one
injury?
bicep, came and he tore both of his biceps.
Oh, that's right.
And
That's right.
Well, and he broke his arm.
And he broke his
Oh,
arm.
that's right.
And he
That's
broke his
right.
arm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's kind of like me. He, you know, he's like got
Yeah.
some injuries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's crazy because he also has one of the craziest fucking grips I've ever seen.
Yeah,
Like-
he's very intimidating. I mean, he's a big, scary
Yeah.
looking dude, all tatted up. I mean,
Yeah, man. He's a biker
he
guy
looks
with
like he could be my brother, my big brother.
bro, for real. Like he came here for practice one day, showed up on his bike and shit. It was a
Oh,
cold
yeah.
day too, man. He rode his damn bike and he gets here. Nice, he's super nice. Like
Yes.
he'll message me. He's another one of them guys like you and Ryan and stuff. He'll message me and be like, "What have you done today to fucking become a better arm wrestler? How can you call yourself an arm wrestler? You haven't done no fucking wrist curls today. Like, get up and do something." Like he's just super motivated and he's driven and he's a nice guy. And that whole team, like the first time I met Adam after the event in Ladson, South Carolina PAF championships, he was at the after table working with every new guy possible. Like that's just who they are, man. Like Chad's just, it's like from G's to Gents. Chad's just putting out like gentlemen, dude.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yeah, I'm a
Yeah.
huge Adam Morzinski fan. I mean, I
Oh, I
met
love
him a few years ago in Daytona. He was having a couple wars with Brandon Morris, and you know, it was right when, you know, you just watching these young kids just evolve. It's really amazing to me. And plus, he's such a super nice human being, like very kind and very humble. I really liked what he said after he smashed that guy in the East versus West, but he kind of felt bad about what he said, because I know that's not his character. But I just thought it was it just sells the hype. I just feel
it does.
but
My wife, like, I can't say this as a guy, but my wife said it perfectly. She was like that just showed, like, she was like, that was like the cutest thing ever. He's such a badass and he's good at arm wrestling, but he's so nice. And I was like, yeah, I can't tell that to him like that, how you said it, but I mean, he's just so, like, he can honestly, if he wanted to be cocky as shit, he could, because he could back it up, but he's not. He's just like, he's Superman, dude. He's like the epitome of, like, he's the face of something. Like, if there was ever a face of something, like, Adam could be it, you know.
And he trains hard, man. And he comes from a football background, so those guys know how to. They have discipline, you know, it's on a whole different level. And he's quiet about it. He doesn't put a lot of training stuff out there. I mean, I interviewed him a few months ago, and I was telling him, you know, he started doing more TikTok videos and stuff. But I said, you know, it's really good to see, you know, what you're doing in training, because he does a lot of different lifts to strengthen his overall core, his overall body. So he has a unique style of training, and he's super motivated. And I mean, I'm looking forward to seeing this match whenever the video comes out or whatever, because I think it's going to be kind of a private event, you know, because
that's just how that Chad, and I respect that, honestly. Like, we're the same way at my house, even though, like, we're all trying to become somebody. Like, it's not like we're hiding, like, the fucking secret to, you know, Bush's baked beans or something, you know.
No.
But I'm the same way here. Like, I don't mind if anybody films, but I don't want there to be a camera set up filming, like, the whole thing the whole time. Like, if you want to film yourself and, you know, figure out what you're doing wrong, that's fine. If you want to post it, that's fine. I just feel like there's certain aspects, especially when it's you and your team. Now, if you're having a big practice with, like, a bunch of groups of people, that's fine. But if it's your team and stuff like that, I don't care to film practices. And Chad and them don't film nothing. Like, you can't film shit when you go there.
Yeah.
Like, I don't even know how somebody got a picture of inside the gym last time.
The thing
for real.
And that's the thing too, they're having it at where they train and stuff, and they don't want a lot of people there. They just want to have, like, a normal, and then it's this little event. So I think it's great what they're doing. And I think it's great that they don't share stuff, man. I feel like people that do that just train in like in that kind of work in silence sort of deal, you know. I feel like those guys you know, they're really pushing it. So that's why I always have this philosophy that someone is always out there outworking you. So I just try to work hard every day, because I feel like someone out there is working harder than me. They're getting up earlier, they're grinding, and that's just
like,
the way it is.
What's that saying? Hard work outwins talent when talent is sleeping.
Yes.
When the talent's sleeping, hard work's out there getting it done. So
exactly.
Yeah, I truly believe that.
Oh, for sure. Dude, this guy right here is, like, I don't know how he squeezes any time in to do anything else. Like, this guy trains, bro. Like, and Ryan's got one of the sickest setups ever in his shop. I love your setup, Ryan. I try to base my little gym off that.
It's good.
I appreciate it. Yeah, I mean, you know, whenever COVID hit, man, and then they closed the gyms, and I was just like, man, what am I going to do? So I just started ordering stuff, man. And luckily, I had been saving money because, you know, I don't know if you know, Craig, but I was an addict myself.
Okay.
So actually, this past December has been 6 years since I've been sober. So
awesome, man. That's amazing.
Ever since I became sober, I was able, you know, to start putting away a little bit of money.
Yeah, that's funny, right?
yeah, exactly. And anyway, I was able to get, you know, I got like a whole squat rack and pulley system and, you know, preacher. I mean, you could go in there and you could do squats, bench press, you know, whatever you can do at a normal gym. I got a pec deck, you know, and it's all stuff that fits the standard plates on there. You know what I mean? So it fits like regular, you know, 45
Olympic weights. Yeah.
I might go dark on y'all. I'm going inside to get a charger.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, you know, I used to have the adjustable dumbbells. They were actually just regular old adjustable dumbbells, but they had the big ends on them so you could fit the Olympic plates on there. But I actually have purchased a bunch of dumbbells over the past few months and kind of got rid of them. But
nice.
I mean, it's a good setup, man. I mean, you know, it's not a huge area. It's about 200 square foot, but everything's positioned where it needs to be. And, you know, I know how to get it done in there.
It's intimate. I like that. This is like my garage is a little smaller than what I was training in. But like you, as soon as I kind of like once I got into arm wrestling, because coming from bodybuilding, I'm like, I started like just fucking hating the gym, like basically. And then I started like adapting just arm wrestling training, like everything was about arm wrestling. And then I started slowly getting out of you know, worrying about body shaping and all that kind of shit that you do with bodybuilding and just kind of So I feel like anybody can have like just a bedroom and set it up for arm wrestling and never have to go to a gym and be able to train. Like look at Todd Hutchings, what he has. I mean, that's a good example that you don't need all this fancy equipment because, you know, being an addict, when I first got into arm wrestling, man, I fucking bought every machine, a side pressure machine that you put weights on. I got like 80 handles. I mean, it's ridiculous. But I can't give any away because, you know, I might use one in a month or something.
Bro,
It's like so fucking like I'm a hoarder of arm wrestling equipment. So, but I got rid of a lot of stuff. And then, you know, I've been in the sport for 10 years and I finally came to realize what handles are beneficial and what I use in my training now. And there's really like maybe a handful, maybe a half a dozen, 10 maybe handles apparatuses that I use regularly now. So I feel once you go through that whole, you know, I need every handle, you know, because every time someone would get a handle, I'm like, oh, this is the secret. This is the secret. You know? And it's really just getting on the table more and training with a great team. You know, that's what I feel like is the most important part of the sport.
That's definitely how it was for me. Every time I'd watch a video, like if I saw a handle that I didn't have, I'm like, oh, he's got that one. I got to get that one. That's it right there.
I'll tell you like this, man. I got all the handles too, and I seem to have, let's see, like 3 in a consistent rotation, and one of them is the wrist wrench.
Mm-hmm.
Yep,
that's
the
mine.
other one. The other one is the like the Mazurenko handle, but it's the bigger one. It's the bigger one.
With the fingers,
more for your finger pressure.
Yeah, so like it kind of digs in there. You can put your fingers in that little slot. Yeah,
right.
I got that.
I like the multi spinner.
Yes.
One reason I like that is because I can grab the bottom of it, and I can have 30 pounds. You know what I mean? And just wrap the rope around the top. And just try to move it like this because it's trying to turn you under.
Yeah.
The whole time, and you could have 30 pounds on it, man, and you're just sitting there shaking.
Crazy.
You know what I'm saying?
So crazy.
It don't take much weight at all.
No, and I feel too with arm wrestling. I feel like it's better to use a lighter weight, especially on those like wrist kind of. You know, when you're training your wrist. You know, of course, you can go heavy on wrist curls or whatever, but when you're using the multi-spinner, you know, I feel like when you're doing pronation or supination or even holds, I feel like it's nice to build endurance in that area. And I feel like you have more longevity because I feel like all your hard training and heavy training should be at practice. And then periodically you might lift a little bit heavier in the gym, but I feel like, my max effort is that once a week practice for a couple hours. And then you really leave, with, that feeling in your arms, like you're exhausted.
Well, we've been pulling. So let's see, we've been pulling 2 days a week, Tuesdays and Saturdays, and I've been doing all arm wrestling specific stuff. Man, I've been beating the crap out of myself because I have a match myself coming up in March with Robbie Russell.
Oh, dude, that's amazing matchup.
Yeah, and I've really.
So you must be interested in the match with him and John this weekend.
Yes. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it. And,
there you go, buddy. Right there. You're right in that picture.
I've seen John recently pull Noel.
Yeah, I was there for that.
And Noel did decent. I like Noel. He's a good, strong puller.
Yeah, man, for sure.
And I've seen Robbie pull Noel. I'm just using this comparison. It was easier for Robbie to beat Noel than it was for John. So I'm just a little interested. I know styles make matches, and I know John and Noel are hookers, and Robbie Robbie's good everywhere. So I'm just interested to see if he's going to be able to top roll him, and if it does go to the hook, if he's how much of a struggle it's going to be. I mean, I can't really call it, man. I don't know. I don't know.
No,
Ryan, I hope you don't get mad at me for this, man, but you know me, I like to stir the pot a little bit. Word on the street is Robbie Russell's 3-0 in your ass. And that ain't fucking happening, baby.
No, you're saying it wrong, man. I heard he was 3-0 me, and it was gonna be easy day for him.
Oh, okay. So you heard no, hey, yeah.
No, I've heard all that crap, man. I don't care about all
those
that.
are perfect though. That's what you want to hear, because if someone told you, "Oh, Ryan, you're so strong, you're gonna win that match 16-0. Look at you,
right?
Don't even train. You're so amazing. You're gonna destroy everybody." People like to build fake confidence and stuff, and it's like, So when you're climbing the mountain, like you're trying to get to that level, like just like my match with Brandon. I mean, it's like nothing to lose, man. Everything to gain. Training hard. I know that another human being's on the other side of the table, and anything can happen. You know what I'm saying?
Yep,
so
that's right.
And people, I want them to say that I'm going to get my ass kicked. I want them, because anything that doesn't happen will be just a benefit for myself, and it's like, I use that as fuel. I mean, I have my friends telling me, like a couple of my friends making fun, saying that he's going to break my shit and stuff. And that's just what people do, stirring the pot. And for me, man, it just makes, that victory so much sweeter, man. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, being overlooked or whatever, I feel is a big mistake with people. And I'm not saying Brandon's doing that, and I'm not saying Robbie's doing that at all.
Right,
in general, people out there making posts and talking about you're going to lose and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, you know what? Keep it coming. That's just what I love. I thrive off that,
Yeah. That's kind of what happened to me over the weekend, man. Like,
look what happened to you, kicking everybody's ass.
Right. I pulled David Red. I pulled him the end of November, like less than 2 months ago. And he wrecked me, man. Like, and I tried it. Like, I call these
I was there.
Oh yeah,
I was there.
I wish you were there this time. Damn, bro. Like I told Brittany, like one of the first things I said after it was over, I went over to her and I was like, damn, Ryan deserved this version of me and not that version of me. I was like, damn, dude.
Oh, no.
But yeah, it's like
everybody has bad days, man.
Oh, dude, I learned from my mistakes. Like you told me, you motivated me more than ever. Like you always motivate me, but you pushed me after that match. Like, and I really leaned on you because I was kicking my own ass after that match, man. Like he 3-0'd me both arms. And I had people telling me, it was closer than what you think, man. Like he didn't blow through you. He had to work and this and that. And I'm like, but he still 3-0'd me both. I got 6-0'd and it left a nasty taste in my mouth, dude. And the first thing that you told me when I came over to you after the last match, and you said, like, everything okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm just pissed. And you were like, well, what does that want to make you do tomorrow? And I was like, go home and fucking train. And you were like, well, get it done. And dude, I'm telling you, since after that match, the very next day, I went straight. I didn't do a recovery workout or nothing. I went straight to working out, back to it. I was hurting. And ever since then, I've been waking up at 4 a.m., getting like an overall strength workout in the mornings, because that's when I feel better in the mornings. I'm just a morning person. So I get like my hard strength workout in then. And at night when my wife gets home and everything's settled in, I come out to the shop and I do like my arm wrestling specific workouts and stuff. So I've been putting in 2 a days since November 21st and eating like a fucking slob.
Nice.
Like just trying, I mean, because it's a 180 pound, event. There's no need to come in 160 pounds, 20 pounds light. Like,
no.
But it's so hard for me, man. Like I can't maintain this. Like I was telling Ryan, like 4 or 5 days ago, like 2 days before the event, I felt like my wife woke me up on the couch. I was asleep with a bowl of pasta in my lap, and like I still had food in my mouth. Like I woke up chewing, like it's hard, man. Yeah,
it is hard. I know.
Yeah, and that was like, and I bet like I don't make it to 6 meals every day, but that's like my goal. But bro, like it's hard, man. Like,
yeah, man, I did that for like 25 years, man. It's brutal. It's the hardest thing ever is eating.
I was very regular before this, dude. I'm constipated and shit all the time now. And I'm like, cause you have to like, it's a lot more than just like eating as much as you can. Like I'm realizing that I can't eat certain things, like all these red meats. My body's not digesting it fast enough, like, and
you're right.
Yeah. And I'm backed up and like, so it's like, it's a learning process too, but it's just crazy, man. I would love to. I feel my strongest at the weight I'm at now, but
look, man, I'm sitting here listening to you complain about this, right? And I have
You're starving to death.
No, I'm not starving, but I mean, I can't go out and eat a couple packs of Reese's or nothing like that. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm looking up. I found this stuff, man. I forget the name of it, but it's like Japanese, I think, but it's zero carb like pasta. It comes from like a root.
Oh shit!
Yeah. Well, it's like 2 carbs, but 2 fiber too. So it's no carbs,
Mm-hmm.
So I'm sitting there like I made some pasta, with that earlier and stuff, and it did the job.
Oh, but you're a 5-star fucking chef though, so that shit was probably slapping.
I was, man. Not anymore.
Yeah, Craig, did you know that about Ryan, man? Like this guy can,
I did not know
this
that.
This guy right here, man.
Yeah, I was a chef for like 20 years, man, before.
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
Oh, dude. It's like some.
That's why I was an addict.
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Yeah, the restaurant industry, man. It's rough.
Yeah,
I mean,
that in construction, man.
Yeah, he had Anthony Bourdain posters on his wall and shit.
Yeah,
he was doing cocaine off of a fucking like serving tray.
It was he had the original Hell Kitchen.
Yeah, dude,
yeah.
But that's really good because you can make healthy foods taste amazing. I was going to ask you, Ryan, are you do you have to like cut weight for this match, or like what do you hover with? Like do you have to watch your intake of food?
Yeah, I mean, I don't really count calories or nothing like that.
No, but like your weight in general, like what do you weigh walking around at, and what do you compete at? Do you have to cut weight usually?
If I'm pulling 198s, I usually have to cut a little. My walk around weight's anywhere from 207 to 210.
Okay.
I am a little heavier. Well, maybe not at this moment because I cleaned up my diet a little bit a couple weeks ago, so I'm probably around 209, 210 now. But
okay, what do you got to? Do you have to weigh? Do you have to be a certain weight for the match with Robbie?
Yeah, 198.
Okay, yeah.
So, I mean, it shouldn't be a problem really, 198. If I had to make that tomorrow, that'd be what, 9? I could probably do it
You could do
tomorrow.
it if you were drinking, if you've been drinking lots of water and stuff. It's just a manipulation. But
Right.
the thing is like you're gonna eat clean and kind of take like I'm a firm believer in, if you're 5 pounds out from your weight, I mean, you can cut that day. It's not a big deal. But I feel like you just want to not drain yourself that much.
That's a good shit away.
You don't want to drain yourself that much, and you want to have already trained your body to secrete liquids through sauna, through hot baths, and so that you can do it that day and just like cut it easily. Because if you just try to get into the sauna and you're already dehydrated and shit, you're just going to drain yourself. People just, they don't do a water load sometimes. They don't do anything with their sodium, and you can really just trick your body to, like I can cut 5 pounds in, an hour in my little sauna tent after, basically doing a power water, sodium load and then a cut. And
what's crazy is my brother used to box in like the Marine Corps and stuff, and he used to like was trying to do like become a Golden Glove boxer and stuff. He showed me like one of the ways he used to cut weight out. Craig, you might have heard of this, but he used to put on like a shitload of like heavy clothes, like sweatshirts and stuff.
Yes.
Skull cap, and he would chew gum and spit.
Yes.
He would never swallow the spit, and he would tell me like, fatty cells and stuff like that, it's in your saliva. He said he could drop weight like crazy.
They say like you can lose so much an hour if you spit, I guess. So
yeah. He said all he used to do is just sweat, and he would get like that big league chew, like a bag of that, and just chew on it, because like the sugar would, like, he would never swallow any of the spit, and it would just out. It would get so bland real fast, so like it would just produce a lot of saliva. He said he could drop 7-8 pounds in a couple hours. I was like, holy shit.
Yeah, I used a hot bath, and man, I couldn't believe how quick the weight came off, because you don't realize you're sweating, because you're wet. So not that I like hot baths either. I find they're brutal compared to
really,
a
dude.
sauna.
I'm not gonna lie. This is probably gonna make people think I'm weird. I take a hot bath, like every night, and then immediately after, I rinse off in a cold shower.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's good doing the cold last.
I hate the cold shower though. Like that's the one. Like I love the bath. Like
you would love my ice bath. You would love my ice bath.
Oh, dude, I thought about doing it, man. You got a freezer, right?
Yeah, man. Just do it. I tell you, it'll be the best investment you ever do. I mean, you guys live where it's cold right now anyway, right?
Yeah, but this is like it's hit or miss here in the wintertime. Like, and when it's cold in the wintertime, it's like
if it gets down to like a couple times this year, it got down to 30. I like to just sit outside with like just my shorts on, and kind of like the cold breeze gives you like a good little flow. I used to go to this recovery gym. They had all this recovery stuff, and the guy had a deep freezer where you just went inside it, and it was like mist, and it was really amazing. Oh yeah, dude, you just sat there and it felt like nothing, but the cold water is way more brutal than cryo or anything I've done. Like the wet, you know how it is with the shower. It's like, the water's on you, you know what I mean? You can't get away. So
nope.
But it will give you such a good mindset. It'll make you have so much more energy. You'll feel, if you're stressed, 3 minutes in the ice bath, man, and you're not thinking about whatever you're thinking about. You're thinking about, man, am I gonna fucking die? Because this water's cold as fuck.
I started wanting to do that in the morning times after I saw Joe Rogan.
Yeah, that's when you want to do it now, is in the morning. Yeah.
Mornings. Yeah. He was like, you got to get that inner bitch out of you. He was like, go ahead and get that inner bitch out of the way. He's like, after that, he was like, the day is nothing after that. I was like, he's like, it just clears it. He's like, nothing wakes me. He's like, it'll also wake you up, like get you ready.
Yes.
And I was like, I can see that happening.
Yeah, and there's new data now that, because I was doing them right after I trained because I was hot, and then you could tolerate the cold. But they say now that it will take your gains away from strength and any kind of muscle building, because of the cold drop in your body temperature and the cold with the blood. I guess it's just something people are starting to not see the gain, so they're separating them. And now that's why you're hearing people saying, hey man, it's the best thing to do it first thing in the morning, and it makes you wake right up. And that's what I kind of incorporate is early morning kind of cold showers, ice bath, and a couple days a week, man. You can it really makes you feel amazing because it makes you feel uncomfortable. And when you do things that make you feel uncomfortable, like when you lose and you have to go home and you have to get your training back, just like what you were just talking about, those things, there's so many valuable lessons in that. And you feel uncomfortable. So it's like, do you go home and bitch about it, or do you do something about it? And that's where I feel like that's where you can get caught up in this victimhood, where people just they just want to feel sorry for themselves. So I think of life as like being a dog, man, just grinding and just like, no matter how much I get beat down, I just keep coming back. And what I realized is life is it's a marathon, it's not a sprint, because when you're 20, you think, oh man, I want to get so jacked. I'm going to do tons of steroids and eat fucking 12 times a day and do whatever it takes to try to accomplish my goals, and not think about, hey man, I might be 30 one day or 40 one day and, want to have a family or be alive, because when I was 25, dude, when someone would say, hey man, what's your plan when you're like 35, 40? And I'm like, I don't have a plan. This is plan A. And if it doesn't work out for me, then I think I won't be around, Yeah.
And I told my wife, I was like, that's crazy. Like I love like having these conversations with you, man, because you don't run into people that went down like we don't have that very often, guys like me, you and Ryan, especially in our community. Yeah. I mean, arm wrestling, it's a barroom sport. Yeah. But a lot of these guys are established guys, man. They've never even done a drug in their life. So it's good to have this conversation. And like, I was telling Brittany the other day, or not the other day, like a while back, it's that whole process of going through the addiction and trying to just overcome everything it's a revolving door, man. And like having these conversations with you and stuff, like I love being able to go back to that and being in the spot that I'm in now and seeing it, because it also helps me out still, because I still have my days where I'm like, damn, like back in the day, this would have been the time that I popped the damn Percocet or something right now, or fucking went and got a bag or something, But
I feel because most addicts, and I can only speak for myself, but I'm a self-sabotager, and it's a battle every day. Like when my alarm goes off at 3 a.m., man, there's a narrative that goes off that, hey man, you could sleep in a little bit more, you're not going to get in trouble. Why don't you just take the morning off, or whatever, get home from work? Oh man, you're tired, why don't you just go sit on the couch and watch TV? Like all kinds of nonsense goes on. And I feel like when you kind of like go back to like, when you were living that life of regret and how miserable you feel, and when you build gratitude, because I feel like you're real grateful for where you're at now. So when you have that attitude, I mean, I look at things now like, we're not guaranteed to wake up tomorrow. So like whatever's going on right now, I'm just going to stay in the now. And then when I wake up tomorrow, I'll just be grateful for that day, because so quickly things can change. And I've been just seeing, people, dying, people dealing with like, struggling, and, like we talked earlier about, mental illness, goes hand in hand with addiction and trauma and all that stuff. And I feel like, when you talk and have these conversations and you're honest and you're not afraid to let people know, hey man, I was a piece of shit, man. I was an asshole. I was not a good person. And, I'm not proud of that person, but I've taken that person and I've totally, did a 360, and I was able to use those experiences now to show people and just give them the message of hope. Because a lot of people, man, I get messages all the time from people that are struggling with
Yeah.
crazy shit, and they're like, man, how do you do this, or what do you do? And it's like, when you've been a victim all your life and you've already been that person, it's easy to,
Yeah.
to see it now,
Yeah.
and that's, a guy once told me, like, when you really hate something about someone, it's usually because it's a reflection of something that was about you, either in your
Yeah.
past or
Yeah.
who you are now. Like, so
Yep.
like my kid lies, my 9-year-old's a little liar. I mean, that's
Yeah.
normal with all kids, but it
My
fucking bothers me
12-year-old's the
because
same
I
way.
was such a bad liar growing up. So it
Yeah.
bothers me because I was like,
Yeah.
I did this.
Dude,
So I just find it interesting. You can, see the similarities when you get
yeah.
older, and you're really honest with yourself. Because when I first heard that from someone, I was in an AA meeting and I was like, you're fucking full of shit. And then I started really thinking about it, and I was like, you're
Yeah.
right. I don't like this guy because he's an asshole. I don't
Yeah.
like this guy because he's a liar. I don't
Yep.
like this guy because he's still using. I don't like
Yep.
this guy because, whatever,
Yep.
and I had those traits,
That was one of the biggest lessons I learned, and like it being brutally honest with myself. And I still carry that to this day. Like, I have to be brutally honest with myself, because the moment you start to give yourself excuses and lying and tweaking that truth and reality a little bit, that's that rabbit hole, man. That's
Well,
sucking you back
you
in.
know you know who you are.
Yeah.
You know who you are. And
Exactly.
a lot of people don't like that. Like, for example, like when you hear people talk about like psychedelic experiences, and they're like, man, I had such a bad trip, I didn't like what it did to me. They don't like that they get in that mindset of
Yeah.
like, the curtains down, and they have to deal with their self, their ego,
Yeah.
and they don't like that, and that makes people
Yep.
feel very uncomfortable.
Yep.
And I'm not saying people need to go out and use psychedelics, but I'm just saying, like,
Yeah.
when you have these experiences in life, you realize that you're really, I heard this saying once in a meeting, and I use it to this day, and it's like, I'm not that important, but I'm all that I think about. And it's so crazy because, when you're, even meditating, working out, spending time with self. Like, I don't like to listen to music normally when I work out, because I treat it as meditation.
Yeah.
And I like the quietness because you really can think, no distractions. And I have my days where I want to hear some music, it pumps me up or whatever. But
Yeah.
the thing about it is, in those meditative states, when you're in flow state where time doesn't matter,
Yeah.
that's when I feel like, you're really, living your life in that now moment, which is so important. And I feel like, our experiences really teach us, where we're at in life now, and I think that we owe it to share it with people, because, there's a lot of people out there that, have given up on life, and they're struggling, and they might just, need to hear a quote or need to hear a message, and, it might plant a seed for someone, and I feel that's, that's important for people to, because I felt like, if I went all my life and I never told anyone that I was addicted to meth, or I had I was a junkie for like almost 20 years, I feel like, it would be all for nothing. And I feel like when you can share your experiences with people, it teaches them, especially like what you were saying earlier, Ryan, with you being 6 years clean. I mean, when a youngster comes up or talks to you, or you can give them some experience that you went through, and you can, kind of plant a seed. And by living your life the way you are, especially with people that see who you are, you set an example. So I feel like that can really inspire people to want to make a change.
Oh yeah, for sure. And like, in the beginning, I mean, I didn't want to talk to nobody about it. I didn't want nobody to know, that I was an addict, or I was this or that. Even, I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I even struggle with it now. But I've forced myself to tell people, and what I'm saying. I mean, I don't stand up there and preach at them, but I just, look, man, whenever I quit drinking, it was, best thing I've ever done. I mean, I was a terrible decision maker, when I was doing stuff.
Oh, you
So,
you didn't make any good decisions when you're under the influence of alcohol and drugs?
no, none. Not one. Not one.
That
So
is
it's
so
like
funny.
it's amazing. Uh, when you leave that lifestyle, man, and start living out of it, it's just like now I can look back and just to get the urge now, I can just think back at all the freaking negative memories and just all the negative stuff that happened, man. And that's enough to keep me out of it. You know what I mean? I got a wonderful wife. I got 3 kids. I mean, all that too, all that for sure. But I mean, there's just, there's not enough positive stuff to go back doing that. You know what I mean? It's just, it seems like another life. I mean, you know what I mean?
Yeah, for sure, man. For sure. It's another life. And I know what you're saying. Like when I first was getting sober too, like I was kind of embarrassed, it's a prideful thing. And, and then I find like addicts go, I have this addict template that people follow, they stop their vices, then they tell you how great they feel. Then they're saying, oh, I wish I would have did this before. Then they talk about, some kind of ideology with either religion or some kind of higher power. And then, it's kind of the same story. Then they put their Superman addict cape on and they think they're going to save the world because they think that they had found the answers. Meanwhile, just putting down the drugs and alcohol, you really, you need to really focus on why you were doing that. Like, why was I a slave to drugs and alcohol? Why did I do that? Like, why was I living this life of regret? And it's always trauma. And it's always usually some kind of something that you're dealing with from your past. And, that's when the work really kicks in. And, and I'm not saying like, it's bad to like do those things, but I just feel like I see it all the time. And I fell into that, when I first got sober, man, I was going to detox every week. I was, trying to help people out, give them money, help put them in a hotel. Like I just had the Superman cape on thinking that I could interrupt people's using. And you can't, because I even worked at a CSU and a detox where they had dual diagnosed patients with mental illness and addiction, and people that got Baker acted or Stuart Marchman acted where they have to come in, they're forced to do like a 3-day treatment program. They never got sober because you can't interrupt people's using. And
Nope.
we know that because we were addicted to substances. And
every time I was put in one, I was so like all I could think about when I was in there was getting out.
Yes. And you hate everybody for putting you in there, and you just want to go use. And like you said earlier, Donnie, you said, this is the time where, I would normally like to say, oh, fuck this, and just go get a couple Percocets or do whatever your drug of choice was. And now you have adapted, tools to use in life that you don't run to vices. And, I feel like, when you have kids and you're kind of living this life that you guys are all living, it's motivation to continue on in the path because, working for drugs, you bought yourself your own gym, Ryan. I mean, when you're in the midst of addiction, it's so hard to save money. You're just enslaved by a drug. And, at the end of the day, with a lot of hard work, man, and the willingness, you can achieve a lot of great things. And I don't believe that people have a disease. I believe it's bad choices. I believe that that people do drugs that are addictive. And I feel like once the underlining problem is addressed, which is always me, you know what I mean? So, and that's where the real work kind of begins. So,
and I hate saying this because like I always want to give people the most hope, but being being honest and truthful is the best thing. I feel like relapse is a part of the recovery process, man. Like hell yeah, if you don't relapse, that's amazing. But I have never met anybody that was addicted to something for so long and went to rehab one time. I've yet to meet anybody that went to rehab one time and got fixed. So like that's another thing I preach to people who are going through addiction and stuff is like, just know, like, it's not like if you relapse, it's about what you do after that. Like, it's not that you relapse. Like, to me, that's a part of the game. That's a part of you, what you do after that tells me a lot. Like, if you choose to try to continue to get clean and you realize you fucked up and made a mistake, that tells me that you're ready to try to do this, like. But if somebody's using relapse as an excuse and to keep going back, or I'll do this and that, then it's a weird foggy line trying to help other addicts. But like I said, it's something that, like, I love seeing somebody get happy about the possibility of getting clean, especially people that really want to do it. Like, I've never, like you said, that you can't force yourself on nobody. They that has to be a decision on their own. They have to want to do that.
Yeah, I mean, you have to want to do it for yourself. You can't want to do it for such and such, or for
Yeah, no, there
or
can't
for
be an
that.
outside reason at all. A third party, no third party dealing. Yeah, it has to be for
I
you.
would, when I would bring meetings to detox, I would hear, because it was green and it kept it green for me, because, these people weren't even sober for like a couple hours, and they're hating life. And I would just hear people go, man, I just want to get my kids back. I just want to get my job back. I just want to get my bicycle back, and it's the next thing it's like, you're just doing it all for the wrong reasons, because
and so those can be motivations, but those can't be the reason. Like, those things aren't, you have to understand that that's not going to happen. Those are things that happen later on.
And
I know you want your kids back, but you have to get your shit together. You have to get sober first.
And people that clean up quick, like I was one of these guys that would always clean up. I would hit rock bottom and I would clean up in a couple months. Yep. And I would be like, oh man, I got this. And the next thing I know, I'm right down another friggin' rock bottom shithole. And it was just a roller coaster ride, but I would clean up so well, meet a new girl, life would be great, but I really wasn't, it's just
I had this thing that I used to say when I was telling people I was clean. I would always blame it on, I'm like, well, I had, like, my family was always there to, bring me in, and they always gave me money and this and that. And it's like, now that I'm actually clean, I'm like, no, I just knew how to manipulate people, and I knew where to go to get the stuff that I needed. They weren't enabling me. They were just doing what they thought was best, and they loved me. They weren't in my shoes. Honestly, sometimes I feel like, not sometimes, I deep down feel it's worse for the loved ones of addicts than it is for the addict.
I was just going to say that I can't really relate to it. I mean, I've seen some friends of mine, but not a family member that, especially a kid, like your kid. Imagine you having to deal with this, as a father. It's just like, it's my worst nightmare.
Me want to throw up.
Yeah, it does make me want to throw up. You're right. And
I'm like, oh God, like literally, I'm like looking at my kids are sleeping on the couch. I'm like, oh, just be addicted to cars, bro. I know it's expensive, but shit, just be addicted to cars.
It's probably cheaper than drugs.
Yeah, for sure. I hate when people say, I heard somebody say that before. They're like, man, having a drug addiction is cheaper than a car addiction. I'm like, I don't know a car that comes knocking on your door every hour and spends $60.
No, dude, it's crazy.
That adds up over like 2 months.
Dude, I would remember having like a 200 a day Roxy fucking habit. And I was like, how did I hustle the money, like, to get this? Because like, and then I look at life now and I go, when I'm having a day where I'm not, wanting to work as hard, I'm thinking, man, just think what you would have done to get high. You know what I mean? I would have did anything. So when you can change that and put that in a different, like, use that energy in a different light, you can really accomplish a lot in life. Because I spent all day figuring out where I was going to get drugs, where I was going to
Yes.
get money, who I was going to rip off. But it was like a
Yep.
full-time job, dude. It was
Yeah.
really, and now I look at it and I'm like, wow, I'm so grateful that, you know, I'm not living that life anymore, because there's so much more to life, you know.
That's,
Like,
bro,
so when I
was
look at
amazing.
work, if I'm doing a job that I don't like that day or something, I think, hey man, it's only 10 hours, dude. I'd spend 20 just trying to figure out how I was going to feel better, you know?
Yeah, I fucking drove.
Yeah.
I fucking carried a mini fridge on my shoulder from a hotel like 4 miles on a bicycle one time, son. Like, come on. Nah, dude, I'll sit here and shovel some dirt all day.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Craig, I wanted to ask you what do you think's up big for Florida arm wrestling next?
Well, we got the FAL.
Mhm.
It's going to be a new league. So, you know, what we're trying to do here in Florida is kind of trying to make it professional. And I know a
Yeah.
lot of people are kind of misinterpreting, you know, and, you know, there's been some hiccups because, you know, we wanted to have jerseys all set up for the events, and, you know, trying to do all this stuff, you know, getting everything fitted. And, you know, we're not getting like cheap, like little sweatshop, you know, jerseys. We're trying to get high quality stuff made.
No, I
So
love that idea, man. I
there's
don't agree with the backlash that people are giving with it. I don't understand that. But yet these same people will go and spend $100 fucking dollars to go to a Travis Bajent tournament, you know?
Yes, or they'll spend $1,200 on a super match. Like, the thing about it is too is they're not seeing the big picture. They're men that are like, I'm not going to be told what to do. I'm going to wear my team stuff. Like, it's just such an ego blast, but they don't understand that when you're looking at a major sponsor and you're showing them videos of an event, if it looks like everybody like is dressed differently, it looks like it's in a bar. It looks like it's just a bunch of guys in a garage. Like,
exactly.
it doesn't have any kick to it.
Yeah,
But when you have everybody in uniforms, like a bowling team or a softball team, whatever, and you're part of an organization, it all helps everybody else. It's just like when you go to Monster Michael Todd's event, you're going to wear his shirt at his event. It's just like East versus West. You're going to wear your shirt. Yeah, they're charging for the jersey. I get it. But that's just the way it is. So with that being said, you know, we're trying to just step it up, more professional, trying to, you know, because Florida kind of, you know, people look, I feel like, you know, Florida's like the backyard, almost Kimbo Slice, you know, Miami backyard fighting, you know, these arm wrestling tournaments, you know, not the greatest refs sometimes, you know, you got guys that are pulling refereeing. So, you know, now we're getting certified referees. You know, we're tightening up the program. We have a lot of talent here in Florida, and we're just tightening up the program, and we're having 11 great events every month starting February 4th. We're going to have our first East versus West qualifier here in Florida.
That's awesome.
And it's going to be amazing. And then right after that, every month after that, we have an FAL tournament. Man, we're going to do a points team, like a points setup. I'm not sure exactly how the number system is going to work right yet, but Chance Shaw's taking care of all that. And, you know, it's going to be really great. We got $10,000 in prize money already, that we just have cash. So,
Nice.
You know, I don't how that's going to be divvied up. You know, try to get some super matches, and with things looking really more professional, and you get a major sponsor, then we could get a guy like, you know, Michael Todd or John Berzink or Dave Shafee come down and, you know, pull another great, you know, maybe an up and coming guy, you know, whatever. But, you know, I think it, you know, just like this match that I'm going to be part of, you know, I got to give a shout out to Marshall Thompson. I mean, this guy is really putting it on great. I mean, this whole trip is not costing me anything. They paid for my trip. I have an opportunity to win $1,000. You know, I get an opportunity to pull the 6th ranked guy in my weight class. I mean, it's a win-win situation, but, you know, he's also giving a lot of prize money away for the weight classes. I think our weight class is 1,000 on top of that. Best puller of the tournament, another $1,000. I mean,
wow,
it's crazy what these guys are doing. And, hats off to him, because when he messaged me in October and asked me, if I would be interested in a sponsored match, and I'm like, what's a sponsored match, and
Yeah.
he told me that, and I was like, dude, a guy at my caliber, where I'm at in the sport, I'm not a top guy. I'm just kind of trying to grind and trying to make my way to the top 10, top 5 in my weight class in North America, and just do good in Florida. But it gives you an opportunity to just be a part of a great event, and
Yeah, I mean,
it's really nice to see promoters like that pushing that event, so.
yeah.
And I see you guys doing stuff like that too, like events, and really pushing the sport in a positive direction. I think that's great.
I feel like if you're gonna do, like, if you're like me and Ryan literally talked. I think it might have been the last show that we did. Like, if you're gonna be a part of something, and that's anything in life, like I feel I'm a firm believer, and you got to put every bit of passion you have into it. Put your all into it. And I'm raising my kids to be the same way. Like, I don't want to put. I will never do nothing 1 foot in, 1 foot out. Like, I'm gonna full commit. That's just who I am. And if we're gonna, like, being a part of the sport, if you love it as much as you say you do, then you need to be promoting it in the most positive way possible. And
Yeah, for
that's
sure.
why I love all these events, like big or small. Like, I feel like they're all good. And I love the jersey thing. I feel like that's a huge step towards getting this out of the bar room category and into the mainstream spotlight. I totally agree with everything you said. It's more of an organization. When you see people wearing, coordinated jerseys together, it just looks better for big sponsorships and everything. It takes it out of that, like, hick backdoor, like ECW kind of realm.
Yeah, and
Well,
this. Go ahead, Ryan.
go
Sorry.
ahead. No, I'm sorry to interrupt. I was
No,
just
you're
gonna
fine.
say, I mean, just imagine going to like a nationals, right? Like, I know the nationals are different than what they used to be, but going to a nationals, and then you can just identify the people, what state they're from, because the color of their shirt or whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like,
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know if there's 50 different shades or whatever for for your colors, but I mean,
Yeah.
I mean, it helps identify. You know what I mean? And lets everybody know that you're serious and are a part of something. I mean, yeah, you
Yeah.
go in, with
I love it.
jeans on and a t-shirt, and it's like, okay, well, it just doesn't look very professional. Yeah, you guys, I love the idea, and I love that you guys are doing it.
It's just like the IFA worlds. I mean, you had to wear, their shirts. They wanted you to wear slacks. And I'm not even a pants guy, dude. I like to wear shorts, but I understand what they're trying to do. They're trying to make it look professional. And then when you see the videos and stuff, it gives a more professional look. And I feel that's what's missing. I feel like, we want to get out of the bar. And I like what you said earlier too about the whole tournament thing. Is there's something for everybody, man. There's events for the elite guys. There's events for guys like me. There's events guys like just that are coming up in the sport, lighter guys that, maybe they're not winning tournaments, but they're able to compete against, guys that in their same caliber. And I feel like it just helps people, be motivated to get better in the sport, and then you have a bunch of different events for a bunch of different levels of pullers,
Yeah, I really like it. I saw all that going down on Facebook. I was like, I really tried to understand where they were coming from, but I just couldn't grasp the fact of, like, you'll spend money on all this other stuff, but like and if anybody else like Michael Todd does it, or East versus West, it's not a problem. But when something local, something that you can actually go to and touch, the chances of you getting to a Michael Todd event without working your ass off is not going to happen. You ain't going to get to East versus West without working your ass off. You can actually go to this event. Like, it's something you can go to, but you won't pay money for it, but you'll pay like a shitload of money to do other stuff that's irrelevant.
People complain about, they have to travel, but then they complain that, oh, it's $35 an arm or it's $30. Like, you know what I mean? You're already traveling. If $30 is really breaking you, like,
You don't need to be going.
you don't need to be going. Exactly. I mean,
Yeah.
and I get it, but I feel too, like, even with like Michael Todd or these other, I think it was really Michael Todd got shit on about making money or something, and people were like talking about how these pullers want to make money. It's like people just don't understand when you're not in that elite like conversation. They don't understand that pullers want to make money. They want to make money in sponsorship. They want to not have to spend their own money going to an event, but they expect someone just to, spend money to go to an event. It's not like that when you're in that echelon of, great pullers. But I found when the WAL was going on, people that were complaining about shit were never people that were winning. If you notice the people that complain, you never hear Devin complaining. You're not hearing, Michael Todd. Dave Shafee's not complaining about anything. No one's complaining, but people that can't really win, or they're not even relevant in the sport. And
I was gonna bring that up. Those are the people that don't want to pay the money for the jerseys. They're like, I'm not traveling down there, or not even.
Don't travel. That's fine by me. You're not going to do anything for us anyway. You're not. We don't. I don't really care what people want to do, and that's their own prerogative.
Yeah.
And then I did see people ordering jerseys and then complaining that it's taken so long. And I get it. I mean, I ordered shit that it's still not, I got the sizes were smaller. It's part of the hiccups, man.
There's always going to be those fucking.
Everybody wants to shit on everybody. I mean, we could have 100 jerseys, everything's perfect, and someone's going to complain that the chalk sucks. The chalk sucks, and whatever. So that's,
you guys could have gave the jerseys out for free, and there's still gonna be some asshole
that's what Brandon even said. He said that he would pay for people that, I mean, we don't want people, like, if you're local and you can't afford a $30 or $20 jersey and that's breaking you, I get it. We'll pay for the jersey, that's but if you're coming from out of town, you're already paying for, like, that's like me going to this trip in Toledo, and then Marshall telling me, hey man, you got to buy a jersey for $30. I'm like, okay, fuck, it's not going to break me, you know what I mean? Like, it's not going to break me, and it supports arm wrestling. It's just like those guys that were live streaming the East versus West. They think that, oh, I'm going to pay for it, and then I'm going to give it to 50 other people for free. That's not supporting arm wrestling. We have to support it. Like, I don't mind spending $15 to watch fucking 6 hours of arm wrestling, like, and great matchups. And that's why people, they sabotage the sport. That's why arm wrestling's funny, man, because you look at all the Olympic sports. I mean, you look at during COVID, the shit that was on ESPN. I mean, fucking like beanbag tossing. I mean, fucking, cornhole Olympics. I mean, it's crazy, but arm wrestling's not there. It's just like, because, you have some people that want to, make the sport better, like an Egan Terzi or Michael Todd or the East versus West or the King of the Table, and some great events, local promoters here. What's his name in Tennessee? Arm Wars. I mean, Ray Jenkins, all those guys, man, they're really passionate about, putting on events, and and that makes a big difference, in the sport, when you have guys that are real passionate about, what they're doing, and, pullers in general, being able to really push the sport. I just feel like, in this day and age, it's so easy to be rude online, but when you're in person with people, they're just a totally different, they just have totally different attitudes. And I find people they forgot to have like nice conversations with people. It's just it's funny to me.
That's another thing with the social media thing, like getting face to face,
Yes,
it's different. It's a whole nother ball game.
Even this stuff here, like, we got to do interviews like this, of course, but we were all sitting in the same room. It would be a whole different atmosphere. We'd have energy. We'd be feeding off each other's energy.
Exactly.
We'd be laughing. We'd be doing whatever.
Right.
And we'd be arm wrestling, of course. But the thing about it is it's just, that's what a lot of people are missing. And when they're on Twitter or they're on Instagram or they're on Facebook's really kind of toxic for that if you don't disengage in it. And people just like to, I guess, be rude and just kind of, troll. I guess that's a big thing you see now with like troll pages of people that you don't even know who they are, but they're making posts about, Devin sucking or Chance trying to hurt someone arm wrestling. It's like,
I heard this weird statistic. Joe Rogan said they found out that like 80% of these like groups on Twitter and Facebook and stuff are bot groups.
Are bots,
man.
yes.
Yeah, and they're just to like manipulate and swing the emotions, of like people's thoughts and stuff. I was like, holy shit. Like, like all of an entire company.
That's what he was talking about. Religion. That was on a religion.
Religion.
That was all on religion, that people were just arguing with people back and forth. But in arm wrestling, it's really, it's kind of easy to, because I'm always skeptical of like people's name. Like I get a couple friend requests with these, weird troll names. Like, but the thing about it is you can kind of tell who is who in arm wrestling because it's kind of a small knit community. And mind you, there's new people or whatever, but you can kind of like, that can kind of like, it doesn't affect us as much in that aspect. But when you're talking about politics or religion or other topics, you can get into conversations with people that you're like, I don't think this is even a real person. Like they just want to argue and they just want you to kind of waste your time online arguing with people. That's why I'm a big believer in posting and ghosting. Don't even worry about what people are commenting, do your thing and kind of don't get dragged into the negativity, because there's a lot of good things we can do with social media. And it's just kind of getting rid of the negativity. But arm wrestling, man, arm wrestling is just like, you're going to have people that are, they're just negative in life, and that's just a reflection of who they are as a human being.
I'm not gonna lie, man. I'm still battling that post. I'm still perfecting the post and ghost strategy, dude. It's so hard because
of course it is. Of course it is.
I want to do it so bad, but then there's
we post stuff because you kind of deep down you want some feedback too, like you know what I mean, like you're not just I say sometimes like I just make I write something and it's kind of a way I feel, and then I if someone goes, oh, you got a notification from Donnie, I'm like, oh, what did he say? I wonder if he can relate to that. I get it. But as far as the negativity, when people have to say, like I've been seeing this a lot lately, people like some say a pretty well-known competitor flexing in a video in a picture or whatever, and they're talking about them doing steroids or some shit. It's like, why even say that? Like I don't even know why people would have to say, hey man, your beard's ugly, you got gray hair in your beard. Like I just don't get like why people have to go or online trainers. They're like, why are you doing that wrist curl that way? That is totally wrong. Meanwhile, they don't even know what you're doing. Like, like it's just, but everybody's an expert. And that's what you have to navigate around social media. Sometimes, you got to kind of take the good with the bad and use it as motivation.
I was on the phone with Ryan earlier on when he was on his way to practice, and we were talking about the same thing. It was like if you're not doing anything to benefit my life or doing any, like if you're not involved in my life on a daily basis, why are you worried about what I'm doing? If I'm not taking from your family, taking food out your mouth, like disrespecting you in any way, like why, like what is what I'm doing? Why does it bother you so much? Like just keep, I don't feel like you should be worried about what anybody else is doing if it's not affecting you,
And think about this, and you guys can relate to this too, because when you're grinding and when you're working and you're training and you're putting in that work and you're living your life and you're enjoying, of course it's hard or whatever, but you're pushing yourself, right? So you're elevating yourself each day. Are you going to go home and just start talking shit and be negative to people? No, because you're enjoying your life, right? You're going to go home. You're going to spend time with your family. You're going to have, you're going to be a good husband, a good dad, and you're going to be a good example. But you're not going to go online and go, hey man, you're on juice. That super match, you're gonna lose 8-0. Like, you know what I mean? Like, what's the point? What's the point of doing that?
Yeah.
But when you really see the source and where it comes from, those people are miserable, man. You know, because miserable people, they like misery. And no one I know that's killing it in life is talking shit. I don't look at anyone that's training in the gym and look at them and go, you suck. I'm so much bigger than you. Like, no one, like, no, I don't know why people fucking care, dude. It's like they're so insecure about themselves.
Yes.
But it's funny to me, and it just shows their weakness, you know. And
it's always the people that's not where they want to be at in life.
It's never. If you're doing the right thing in life, I don't like when I hear people talking about complaining about other people at my job not doing their job. I'm like, are you fucking doing your job? Because when I'm grinding at my job, I don't know what the fuck's going on around
anybody's doing.
I'm too busy, dog. Like, I don't know if that guy's vaping over there, talking to his girl on his phone. I don't know. You know what I mean? Like, you know, I might periodically see different people through my day when I, you know, do whatever I'm doing in my job. But when you're grinding, dude, you're not worrying about that. Like when you're working out, Ryan, you're not worrying about if Joe down the street's working out. You're doing your thing. You could care less about what other people are doing. And if Joe is down the street grinding, then hats off to Joe, man. That's awesome, you know. But it doesn't matter what other people are doing. I think people get caught up in that. Like you said,
Joe's not fucking worried about you.
No, exactly. And you said something really, really good about, you know, how, you know, people just try to just bring people down, you know, and it's just negative. And and people
that's what's going around right now is it's like you said, that's the popular thing. It's like how much can I like troll and like rag on other people to make myself feel like I'm worthy and, you know, being productive
and get a reaction from you. Like that's what they're really digging for. Because if you don't react to anything, like I get like, not, I guess you could call it like cyberbullying or whatever from people. Like it's just trolling, I call it, but I get trolled by people all the time for years. And, you know, out of the blue, I won't hear from these people for like 2 or 3 years. And then I'll see some comment or some funny shit. And I just like, I don't pay it any mind. And sometimes to me, it's funny that I'm like thinking about, wow, that guy was really thinking about me, that he had to write my name in a post, and I haven't interacted with him in like 4 or 5 years, but the guy will still talk shit about me. It's really intriguing to me that that person was thinking about me enough to write about me in a comment. So I just look at it like that. And I just think, you know what? You know, I was really never thinking about that person before, but I guess they're just holding on to that moment. And like you said,
it goes back to what you said, like being able to use stuff in a different way, in a positive, more productive sense. Yeah. That's the biggest change, man. I'm glad you touched on that. That's because I never like put it into words like that, but it's true. Being able to, like, the biggest difference now is being able to come up to a situation or come up to an obstacle and use it in a different way, not just necessarily not knowing that, you know, I shouldn't do this or shouldn't do that, or not being able to, you know, like say that this is wrong, or, you know, but what you do with it from there is
100%. No, 100%, man. And I love to talk to you guys all night, man. And I love to do this again with you guys, but I can tell me and Ryan are past our bedtime here.
All right, dude, it's been great talking to you, and obviously we need to do like a 5-part series or something.
Yeah, dude, we'll talk about arm wrestling next time.
We'll call
exactly.
We'll
I love it,
2
though.
men and a baby, obviously.
Yes.
Well, no, I had fun, man. And again, thanks for coming on. And
me too, man.
I'll get this up as soon as I can.
Yeah,
that's
for
why
sure.
I want to say thank you. That's why I love talking to you, Craig, man. Like, I love how it's not scripted. There's no, it's a conversation with a good buddy and a good friend, man. I appreciate you, dude.
That's right.
Like,
I appreciate you
love
guys.
to have you on more often, but
no, for sure, man. Anytime you guys want to do this, man, it would be my pleasure. And you know, it was really great meeting you, Ryan, last year at Alabama, getting a chance to pull you, and I see how hard you're working, and I'm really excited for your match, dude. I'm a big fan. You know, I'll be cheering for you, and I know you'll be putting in that work, and it's inspiring. And I really appreciate this opportunity to talk to you guys. And you too, Donnie, man. I'm so proud of you, dude. You kicked so much ass last week.
Dude.
Awesome, dude. I'm so proud. And I knew that you were like, you know, you wanted to have that match and get redemption. And
Yes,
it's amazing, dude. And
bro.
it couldn't happen to a nicer individual. I liked seeing people progress like that. And now it's on to the next one.
Yes, it
That's right.
doesn't stop.
Hey,
Yeah.
and definitely good luck to you, man. I mean, it's a huge match. It's
Yes.
super strong opponent. You are super strong yourself. I've only pulled you, and never pulled Brandon, but you know, I mean, you're strong as shit. So
I
I don't
appreciate it.
So I don't know. I don't know if I don't know where Brandon's. I mean, I've seen him hook. I've seen him top roll and stuff. But I mean, I think people are going to be surprised.
I think it's going to be a great match, and you know, Brandon's career speaks for itself.
Absolutely.
I mean, he's beat
Right.
everybody, and yeah, it's just amazing opportunity too. But
That's right.
it's just like you with Robbie. I mean, you know, we're the underdogs, brother, and that's just the way it is for us. You know, we have to
Yep,
that's right.
grind, and this is our journey, because
Yep.
it's what motivates us to get up in the morning and push. You just drove 2.5 hours to practice. I mean, you know how it is, man. It's just
Right.
the game is it's on, and
That's right.
I see big things from you in March, and whatever you're doing, Donnie, you're going to be successful, and I'm looking forward to watching you guys grow as individuals and just men in general, man. And I'm really proud of both of you,
Sir.
and I really appreciate the opportunity to come on your guys' show. And yeah, I can't wait to do this again.
Yes, sir.
Oh,
We
yeah.
appreciate
Oh, yeah.
it, man. We know you're gonna go in there trained up, but I appreciate everything, dude. I hope y'all have a great night.
Thanks, man. You too, guys.
Yes, sir.
All right. Later, guys.
Later, bud.